reflection from a convex mirror. So now students, you can remember how a convex mirror reflects light and forms images. Can you remember the side mirror of vehicles? How is the image formed? There you see the image that is smaller than the size of the object. So that is why we are able to look at a larger area, a wider area through that small mirror. So convex mirrors, we also saw that they diverge rays. The rays are reflected away from one point, but when you extrapolate the rays, they meet at a point and look as if they are being generated or they are coming from that particular point. And that point is known as the focal point of the convex mirror. Now we will see how different types of rays. Now like in the concave mirror, rays come along different paths. And when they incident on the convex mirror, they also get reflected in different ways. So the first one, light rays coming along the principal axis. In a convex mirror, two rays coming towards the mirror along the principal axis are reflected back along the same path after falling on the mirror. So here also the principal axis is perpendicular to the mirror. So because of that, they will be reflected back in the same path. First, we will observe the ray and then we will draw the diagram. Students, you can see that the ray coming along the principal axis falls on the convex mirror and gets reflected in the same path. Okay, students. So, you saw how the rays are reflected back in the same path. They do not deviate from their path. So, if we denote that in a ray diagram, what should we do first? We have to always start with the principal axis, and you already know you have to use a very sharp pencil and also a ruler so that you can draw straight lines. Then what did we do? We used a broken line to denote the mirror so that it's easy for us to draw the rays reflecting on the mirror. And then we need to draw the mirror. Here it's going to be a convex mirror. So you all know convex mirror, the reflecting surface is curved outwards. So this is the reflecting surface and this side is the non-reflecting surface. So we need to show the focal point as well. So here if I just take the ruler, but for this ray it will not be diverging. So I will mark the focal point only at a certain point. But when you are drawing the proper ray diagram, you will need to take the correct measurement, mark the focal point, and twice the focal length will be the radius of curvature. That is point C, where you get the center of curvature. So you have to mark those according to values. Now if we look at the ray will come along the principal axis and it will be reflected along the principal axis. Here we don't have to draw another ray because already the principal axis is there and the ray is coming along the principal axis. So from your experience, when we drew ray diagrams with the concave mirror, you know that when an object is placed on the principal axis, the bottom of the object is on the principal axis. Therefore, the image of the bottom part of the object will also be formed on the principal axis. That is why we take rays that are going from the top of the object in order to draw ray diagrams. So, that is one type of ray that is being reflected by the convex mirror. Now, I will move on to the next type of ray, light rays coming parallel to the principal axis. So, again This is what we saw before also. Light rays that are falling parallel to the principal axis, they get diverged away. But they look as if they are coming from the focal point. Rays coming parallel to the principal axis are reflected as a divergent beam after falling on the mirror. These divergent rays appear to be coming from a single point on the principal axis inside the mirror. So here you have to remember, students, this is a difference between the concave and convex mirrors. Here the focal point is inside the mirror, or when you are drawing, you have to draw it behind the mirror, behind the non-reflective surface. This point is known as its focal point. We have drawn this before as well. So here, if I draw the ray diagram, you will see how the rays get diverged. So before we do that, we will look at the beam being reflected by the convex mirror. You can see the parallel rays that are coming towards the convex mirror. They get diverged and get reflected away from the mirror. Okay, students. So now you all can understand how the rays are being diverged by a convex mirror. Now we will draw the ray diagram. So for the ray diagram, first I will need to draw the principal axis, then a broken line to show the point where we have the mirror, and then I will draw the mirror here. Although we draw the mirror, we reflect the light along this line. Why? So that we can find exact angles. So this line indicates the mirror as we did for the concave mirror. So here for the convex mirror, you can see the focal point is going to be at the back or behind the mirror. So again, I will mark it as, like I used before, I'll use the 5 cm as the focal length, and therefore the 10 cm will be the radius of curvature, where you get point C, that is center of curvature. So here at this point it will be the focal length, and here it will be the center of curvature. So then we have to mark the 2 points F and C. Then we need rays that are coming parallel to the principal axis. So the rays that parallel to the principal axis. So if we draw lines like this, that is one ray. As I did before, I can draw another ray from the other side of the principal axis, that is also parallel. So these rays will reflect in such a way that they will be divergent rays. They will diverge from this ray. But when we extrapolate that ray, it will look as if it's starting from this point. That is the focal point. So here I will show the divergent ray using a complete line. At the same time, we will use a broken line to extrapolate the rays. Why do we use a broken line? Because that is an imaginary ray. There are no rays going through. So we are extrapolating this reflected ray. Then what do? We have to show the rays. Now this is the incident ray and this is the reflected ray. The same way we have to show the reflected ray for this one as well. So here to draw the reflected ray. It has to diverge from the mirror. At the same time, it has to go through this point. So, here again, I will draw the reflected ray. That will be the reflected ray. Okay. So, here you can see the reflected ray, and when we extrapolate the reflected ray, it will look as if it's going through the focal point. So, that is how the rays get reflected by a convex mirror. Rays coming parallel gets diverged. So, these two are part of the divergent beam, and this is the focal point from which the rays, it looks as if the rays are coming from that point. So, here you can see these divergent rays appear to be coming from a single point on the principal axis inside the mirror. So, this is different from the concave mirror. With that, I will move on to the next type of beam. Rays coming toward the focus. A ray that comes toward the focal point is reflected back along a path parallel to the principal axis. It's similar, but the way it reflects will be slightly different. So, here a ray that comes towards the focal point reflects back along a path parallel to the principal axis. So, to draw this ray diagram, first we will observe the ray. A ray going through the focal point gets reflected parallel to the primary axis. Okay, so you all saw how the rays are reflected back. The rays that are coming along the focal point reflect back parallel to the principal axis. So, now we will show that in a diagrammatic form. Now, you all are very familiar with drawing these diagrams. You draw the principal axis, then you have to show the rays. Before you show the rays, you need to have the mirror. So, here the mirror is a convex mirror, and this broken line indicates the convex mirror, and the rays are going to come from this side. So, I will draw the focal point here. Why here? The focal point is inside the mirror. So, again I shall mark the focal point . Right. So, the focal point, I will mark it here, and the center of curvature at this point. So, then this has to be marked as F and C. Then now the ray is coming towards the focal point. So, then we have to place the ray has to come towards the focal point. So, you have to place the ruler so that it is along the focal point. Right. So, now this ray that is coming along this path will go through the focal point, or it's coming along the focal point. So, then I will draw that ray here. So, this is going to be the incident ray. A ray coming towards the focal point. Then it will not go through this, it will reflect parallelly, but it will look as if it's coming through this point. So we have to use a broken line. So then the reflected ray will be parallel to the principal axis. It will be parallel to the principal axis. You have to draw a parallel line. This will be the reflected ray. This is the incident ray. This is the reflected ray. That is parallel to the principal axis. The same way, if another ray comes from the other side, again you can draw the rays. Towards the focal point, the same ray will go through the focal point, but this will reflect parallel to the principal axis. Parallel to the principal axis. So that will be the ray that is coming parallelly but from below the principal axis. So here students, you can see two rays. One ray coming from above the principal axis towards the focal point. It reflects parallelly to the principal axis. Here there is another ray coming below the principal axis again towards the focal point, and it reflects parallel to the principal axis. So this is another type of ray reflected by the convex mirror. Now we will move on to the next type of ray. Rays which are coming toward the center of curvature. So here these are the rays coming toward the center of curvature. A ray that comes toward the center of curvature of the mirror is reflected back along its own path. Why is that? A line drawn through the center of curvature is perpendicular to the mirror, or it's like a normal line to the mirror. So obviously it will be reflected back in the same path. This is because any straight line drawn from the center of curvature to the mirror surface is a normal to the surface. So students, first we will observe the ray that is coming along the center of curvature. Here you can see students, a light ray coming towards the center of curvature reflects back in the same path. Okay students, so you saw how the rays are reflected back when they come through the center of curvature. Now we will draw the ray diagram for that. So again, how do we start drawing the ray diagram? We start with the principal axis. Right here, the principal axis. Then we need the line for the mirror. So I will draw the line here. And then we denote the mirror, a convex mirror. Then what do we do after this? We have to mark the 2 points, the focus point or the focal point and the focus, as well as the center of curvature. And the length has to be twice. twice the focal length, so I will mark it as 5, and the twice that is the center of curvature. So here we have the focal point and the center of curvature. Now we need to have a ray that is coming towards the center of curvature. So then I will place the mirror in such a way that the ray is coming towards the center of curvature. So again we draw the ray here, but it has to be extrapolated. So it's coming towards the center of curvature. Then what will happen? We will need to extrapolate that ray, but this ray reflects back okay. So here we have the ray. The ray coming towards the center of curvature will reflect back in the same path. But when you extrapolate it, you can see the ray goes through the center of curvature. So this is the ray. Because center of curvature, this particular line is perpendicular to the surface of the mirror. So those are the rays that are being reflected by a convex mirror. So because they reflect in such a manner, there are images formed by the convex mirror. We will see what type of image or the properties of the image that is formed by the convex mirror. You all can remember, students, we did the same thing with the concave mirror. You can remember there were many different types of images formed based on the position of the object. Now we will see whether a convex mirror also forms images like that. To do that, we will move on to an activity. Images formed by convex mirrors. So here, bring a convex mirror closer to your face and observe the image formed in it. Image is upright and smaller image of your face. So it will be upright and smaller than the face. So we have discussed this before. You have already seen it once. We use the pen caps with the two mirrors, the converging and diverging, or the concave and convex mirrors. In a concave mirror, you were able to see a larger image. But in a convex mirror, you saw a smaller image smaller than the object. So to observe that, we will do this activity. Study the nature of image formed by convex mirror. So to do that, we need these materials. The materials required are a convex mirror. So we need a convex mirror. Then we need a stand to fix the screen, or stand to attach the screen so that it's easy for us to move the screen and place it at different positions. And then we need a lighted candle as the object. If you can remember, students, earlier with the concave mirror, we were able to focus the image of an object that was far away, outside the window, and get it on the screen. But here we cannot do that. Why? In a convex mirror, the focal point is inside the mirror. So there is no way we can measure the length between the mirror and the focal point by doing an activity similar to the previous one. So here straight away we are going to observe the nature of the image that is formed by the convex mirror. We will see how we are going to do the activity. We will do this activity in 3 steps. In the first step, we will observe the image formed by the convex mirror and we will see whether it forms a real image. We will check whether we can get an image on the screen, that is a real image. So to do that, fix a convex mirror on a stand and place it on a table. So it's a horizontal table, a flat surface. Keep a lighted candle on the table near the principal axis at a distance from the mirror. So here the lighted candle is going to be the object. Hold the screen in front of the convex mirror and move the screen and try to get an image on the screen. So we have to move the screen. You know, you can start from a far away distance, say 50 or 60 centimeters away from the mirror like we did before. And you can bring the screen closer. Even you can move the candle also. At the same time, you can hold the mirror close to the screen and then you can move the screen away. So either way, you can either increase the distance or you can decrease the distance. So hold a screen in front of the convex mirror and move the screen and try to get an image on the screen. So here we are going to try. Now try to obtain the image on the screen while moving the candle towards the mirror and placing it at different distances from it. So if we can't get an image on the screen at this point, then what we do is we move the candle towards the mirror. So there we are moving the position of the object. So then also we will see whether we get an image on the screen. I am sure students you already know this. We will not be able to get an image on the screen. So the convex mirrors never form a real image. But we will still do the activity. Then after that, we move on to the second step. So now that we know we can't get the image on the screen, then what we do is we place the candle in front of the convex mirror and observe the image standing in front of the candle. So you have the candle before you and the mirror is behind that. So you can see the image inside the mirror. So that is how you are going to observe the image. Then in the next step, we move the candle towards and away from the mirror. So here you would have observed certain characteristics. The size of the image, whether it's upside down or whether it's upright or inverted, all that can be seen here. Then what we do is we move the candle towards and away from the mirror. You bring it closer, you take it away and observe what happens to the image. So that is the activity we are going to do now. I am sure you have understood what we are going to do. So let's try this in the lab. Okay students. So now we are going to observe the image formed by a convex mirror. So first I will show you the convex mirror. Here you can see this is the non-reflective surface. This side is the reflective surface. So we have it as a convex mirror because it's curved outwards. So now I will place it in the stand and here I will place the mirror somewhere away from the candle and try to see whether we can get the image on the screen. So without moving the candle, what I will do is I will bring the mirror close and take it far away. You can see when it is moving also, you cannot get the image on the screen. So from this observation students, you all can understand that we cannot get the image formed by a convex mirror on the screen. So what can we do? I will move the candle here, and if I hold the stand, the mirror here, can you all see the image? So that you can observe it easily. Now you can see when it is closed. You can see the image in the mirror. What type of an image is this? It is the same direction as the object, so it's an upright image. And is it the same size or smaller or larger? You can surely see that the image is smaller than the object. So it's a diminished image. And we cannot get it on the screen, so therefore it is a virtual, diminished and upright image. Here students, I move the mirror, convex mirror backwards, that is far away from the object, going away from the object. Still, what do you see? The same type of image. Smaller than the object, so it is a diminished image. We cannot get it on the screen, so that's a virtual image. And it is in the same direction as the object. Direction of the flame and the image are the same. So that is an upright image. So from this activity, now here you can observe that irrespective of the distance between the convex mirror and the object, that is the candle here, always you get a virtual image which is diminished and upright. Okay students, so now that you saw the observations of the activity, we will try to answer these questions that are given in your book. So these are from the observations you have to answer the questions. The first one, is it possible to obtain an image on the screen when the candle is very close to the convex mirror? Were you able to see an image on the screen? No. The convex mirror doesn't form real images. So here the answer will be no. So we cannot get an image on the screen. Where is the image formed when a convex mirror is used? It's inside the mirror. Image is inside the mirror. Image is formed inside the mirror. This is another observation that you got. What are the properties of the image formed by the convex mirror? You all know the properties. We couldn't get it on the screen. So is it a virtual or a real image? It's a virtual image. So the first property is it is a virtual image. Was it the same size as a candle flame or was it larger or small? It was a smaller image. So the image is smaller than the object. Was it in the same direction or was it inverted? It was in the same direction. You were able to see that. So what do we call that image? As an upright image. So that is the other property. So here under observations we have answered the questions based on what you saw during the activity. The last one, what happens to the image with the change in distance between the object and the convex mirror? Do these properties change? Does it change from virtual to real? No. Still it is a virtual image. Is it still smaller than the object? Yes. And is it upright? That is also the same. So, irrespective of the position of the object, always a virtual, smaller than the object and upright image is formed by the convex mirror. So, we can write that here. What happens to the image with the change in distance between the object and the convex mirror? We can say still a virtual upright image is formed and it is smaller than the object. So those are the properties of the image formed by a convex mirror. Now that you have understood the nature of the image, now we will see what we can conclude from the activity. What can you conclude? The convex mirrors always form virtual upright images that are smaller than the object. That is the conclusion that we can get from this activity. Convex mirrors form virtual upright images that are smaller than the object. So that is a conclusion that we can get from this activity. Now that you know how the image is formed, and also you all know how the rays are reflected by convex mirrors, we can draw the ray diagram. So now we will draw the ray diagram for the formation of an image from a convex mirror. The position of the image and its nature can be determined by tracing the paths of two rays coming from the top of the object after reflection, just as was done with the concave mirrors. So this is something that is familiar to you all. Always we use two rays that are coming from the top of the object. Why don't we consider the bottom of the object? Here we assume or we take the object as being on the principal axis. So the rays that are coming along the principal axis always reflect back through the same path. So the image of the bottom of the object forms on the principal axis. So therefore we have to consider two rays coming from the top of the object. So now let's draw the ray diagram. Where do we start? You all are very competent to draw ray diagrams now. We have to draw the principal axis first. So here I will draw the principal axis. So let's say the principal axis is here. Then what is the second step? We need to draw a line for the mirror. So I will draw the line for the mirror here and say we have to draw the mirror. So the mirror is there. It is a convex mirror. Then how do we show the object? The object has to be in front of the mirror. So we will draw an object here. It's indicated by an arrowhead, that is the top of the object. And what have I not shown here? What are the other points? We have to show the focal point and the center of curvature. So here the focal point and the center of curvature. So I'll mark it as 5 and 0. What do we do next? We have to draw a ray. I will take a ray that is coming parallel to the principal axis. So a ray, before that I'll mark the points F and C. A ray coming parallel to the principal axis. How does that reflect? It reflects away, it diverges, but the divergent ray goes through the focal point. When you extrapolate the divergent ray, it has to go through the focal point. So here a ray coming parallel to the principal axis. That will go or reflect in this manner. Right. So here this will be the reflected ray, but we need to extrapolate the ray from here to here. It will go like this. It will be like this. Then we have to take another ray that is coming towards the mirror. What are the other types of rays? One ray comes along the principal axis. No point in showing that because it has to come from the top of the object. So there are two more rays. What are those? A ray that is coming towards the focal point that will reflect parallelly, and also a ray that is coming towards the center of curvature. That will be reflected back in the same path. So I will use a ray that is coming towards the center of curvature. So have to place it in such a way that it has to go through the center of curvature. At the same time, it has to go from the top of the object. Right. So if we draw a ray, this is the ray coming. Okay. So that will reflect back in the same path. So I will use a broken line to extrapolate that ray. So this is how it's going to go. Right. Now we have to mark the rays. The ray coming parallel diverges away so that when you extrapolate it, it goes through the focal point. A ray that is coming towards the center of curvature reflects back in the same path. So that is a straight line. When we extrapolate the two rays, we get the point of intersection where the two rays cross each other. The image will form at that point. So here the image will be at this point. Again, we have to show the direction of the image. This is the object and this is the image. Can you see the properties now? Image is within the mirror, inside the mirror. It's smaller than the object. It is upright and we cannot get it on the screen. So it's a virtual image. When you move the object closer and away from the mirror, the size of the image will slightly vary, but still it will be smaller than the object. So if we write down the characteristics of the image formed by this mirror. Here you can see it's going to be a virtual image. It is an upright image. All the properties that I told you all now. Virtual, upright, and it is smaller than the object. And what is the position? Here you can see this is the distance between the mirror and the object, and this is the distance between the mirror and the image. That is less than the mirror and the object. So actually they look as if they are in a different position. You don't see the exact distance. So that is also another property, but here the image is virtual, it's upright, smaller than the object, and also it is closer than the object distance. So those are the properties of this image. So students, with that I have come to the end of discussion on both type of spherical mirrors or curved mirrors. We started off discussing what the curved mirrors are and how we get the curved mirrors, how they reflect the rays. One is a convergent mirror, the other one is a divergent mirror. And you were able to observe and understand how different types of images with different characteristics are formed by the concave mirror, and you know how to draw ray diagrams for those different types of images. And now we have discussed the image formed by convex mirrors. And along the discussion, I have discussed with you all where we use these two different types of mirrors. So with that, we finish this discussion on mirrors.